Well, Medusa's cage is doing pretty good, but I would like the humidity to stay a little bit higher. That's a normal problem with glass enclosures. They don't hold humidity too well. But I did build mine halfway out of PVC. Actually, more than half. So it's not too bad. However, I did make my screen on top just a little bit too big. So today I'm going to do some modifications. So not only am I going to close the screen in some to keep some of that humidity in, but I got one more thing to make this enclosure mo better. Reptile misting system. Medusa's own personal rain cloud. But as you can see, her plants look really nice. And she's hiding inside of that plant. Now there's a lot of reptile misting systems out there. Some are pretty cheap, and some get rather expensive. But typically it's systems like a Mist King that would be considered a primo option available. This is not one of those. It's far from the best one. Most likely, who knows, I haven't even tried it yet. And those systems, depending on what kit you get, run you anywhere between like $300 to $500. So this is one of those cheap options that I've been looking at on Amazon for a while. They only run about 20 to $30. And to be honest, when I first saw it, I thought, there's no way that's any good. But it is programmable with a timer, so can't be that bad, right? Well, I watch a lot of Tyler Nolan, and if you're a reptile person, you might know who he is. But I saw he used these on some enclosures, and he said they worked out pretty good, so I figured I'd give it a try. So let's see what's inside. First, the main unit itself. It can't be that little, can it? Oh yeah, it is. Check it out. And I think they look nice too. I mean, $30. I actually got it on a Black Friday sale for like $22, so you can't beat it. Black and green to match the enclosure real nice. I like it. And you might be wondering, how is that a misting system when it's so little? Well, this system, part of why it's cheap, it doesn't come with a water reservoir. So you gotta supply your own. So I got a 2.5 gallon one on the way, but for now I'm just gonna use a gallon jug. So it also came with a bag full of fittings and all of this hose. Now I just gotta figure out how to put this bad boy together. And they swivel around so you can adjust exactly where they spray. I tell you what, for $22, this ain't half bad. As long as it works. It even came with a hose cutter. It's impressive. Little filter. Double-sided sticky pads. And the other nozzle, because this system does come with 2 nozzles. I'm sure you could probably add more if you wanted to, but not sure how much this will pump out. But 2 is plenty enough for Medusa's cage. But I tell you what, if I like this enough, I might put one on Scarlett's cage. And maybe Sage. And maybe Mr. D. We'll see. They're cheap enough. So it came with some wire ties, T-connectors, and a set of instructions. Which typically I don't use, but might need to look at it for this. Although it can't be that complicated. Just connecting the hoses together. Alright, now comes the pain. Installing this into the top of the enclosure. Which means I gotta take the lid off, so let's get started. Well, I got the lid off. Got her enclosure covered up. I hope she doesn't try to get out, because there's a gap big enough she can do it. And now here's my challenge. Yeah, it came with instructions, but they're pretty much Chinese. There's like 3 pictures, and all it does is show putting the hose together. See, this is the nozzle. And you would think it would come apart in 2 sections. One you put through the top of the enclosure, one you take in from the inside, and you screw them together. It even has a locking nut on here to lock it into the top of the enclosure. The problem is it won't separate. And nowhere in these instructions does it tell you how to do it. So I gotta figure this out, and then I'll show you how to do it. Because no videos on the internet actually show installing this. I've seen like 4 or 5 videos that show how to put it together outside of the enclosure. Not going through a lid, so that doesn't really help. Alright, now that I figured it out, I feel kind of slow. It's just like a basic shark bite fitting. So this end right here, it's got this little ring, and when you push it down, pipe goes in, or the other end of this goes in. When it presses in, it locks. So to separate it, you gotta press this ring down while pulling that out. Not very easy to do considering the diameter of that ring. It doesn't give you any room. You gotta have some fingernails or use a tool. It's just like the basic shark bite fitting, but shark bite removal tool, I got a couple. They won't work on one that small. Alright, now I gotta drill some holes in this lid and get these put in before she escapes. Alright, so I cut this real thin plastic sheet. I'm gonna use it to cover up some of that screen to keep some more of that humidity in. Like this. So I'm gonna basically cover it up on both sides where the light hood would sit. And I got my first nozzle fitting in. Now I gotta put the second one in right there. I really didn't want to have to go through the screen, but the framework around the edges wasn't wide enough for the fitting. But this sheet of plastic in here kind of acts as a washer to help the screen from tearing out. And it's not super thin, so I really doubt that it ever would tear out. But if it does, not really a big deal. I can fix it. Alright, now I got the other one in. Now I just got to get my hose in place. These hose. What were you thinking? I'll connect them both together. Now, let me get it to go in. Oh yeah. As long as I can get this hose in. Now, outlet goes at the top. See, when your fingers don't bend, you gotta use your mouth for a light. Sure hope it didn't come from Wuhan. Oops, I didn't say that out loud. Pick up the outlet. I mean the inlet. Well, I got it together. Then I realized how short this cord is, and I may have to make the hoses longer. Well, I got the top back on. I got it hooked up, and I mounted it right there on the wall. Got a water reservoir down here in the corner by the refrigerator. Now let's see how it works. It kind of sounds like the pump's struggling at first, but eventually it gets through that. I don't know if it's like an air bubble or something. Eventually it gets through it and starts going fast. So I got it programmed to run for 60 seconds every 12 hours. Well, as you can see, it works. And I think she likes it. I know I'm going to like it. I won't have to spend so much time spraying it down. By hand. So overall, is it worth it? I would say so. Especially if you get it on a Black Friday sale. But I mean, really, at $30... you can't go wrong. If you want to get one, I'll leave a link in the description. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. And if you found this useful or entertaining, hit that like button. It really helps the algorithm. Because you know, YouTube hates me. So I need your help to override the algorithm. And if you feel so inclined, please do subscribe. And if you have before, make sure you're still subscribed. Because they delete my subs all the time. Turn on that notification bell. Because I bet less than 1% of my subscribers are actually getting notifications. How you like that rain shower, Medusi? Did it feel good? You sure do look better. You growing up too, girl. You getting mighty big. Yeah, I might put one on Mr. B's cage next.